Hey guys, members of the Guides Forecast. I'll start off with a reminder to subscribe to our YouTube page, the Guides Forecast. We don't send out these YouTube videos on a consistent basis, but once you subscribe, you'll get notification that there's a new video up. And joining me today, and I think Spicy's got a YouTube video channel too, so let him explain the how to subscribe to his YouTube channel. It's great. But joining us tonight is Stephen Gettel, also AKA Spicy. Not is he not just a great fisherman, but knows how to put together a hell of a meal. I've had some of his great works and enjoy sitting down with lunch with you. Enjoy eating your food, and certainly enjoy hearing about how your fishing forays go. So. Um, you were out today, Spicy, on the lower Willamette. Can you let us know how the water conditions were and what you saw?
Yeah, well, I've been watching the turbidity like a hawk. Every few hours I take a look at it, and I kind of anticipated it to be, near 13, 14 today, but it seems like it was coming up a little slower for just for me to get out is what I decided. And so I think it was just about 12 when I pulled out at the end of the day, and I could see my prop fine. The gear was, I could see my bait and my flasher as I was pulling it up with the standard leader length. They were, you know, the conditions were cold though. It dropped about a degree and a half down to 47 degrees. It's been my fish finder's been showing 48 and a half, and it dropped down to 47. The tides, we got a strong tide. We had a full moon the other day, and so they were ripping along. It was an outgoing tide all day, pretty much, and from 7 to 5, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they look better. It looked better than I thought it would. So anyhow, barometer was really low, so I think that was fighting against me too.
Sure. And what did you see on the water? Let us know what reach. I know you're oftentimes launching at Willamette Park there, and you fish through the Portland Harbor. You've got even though the Portland Harbor, it's not like you reed water going through the Portland Harbor, but nonetheless, you've got some consistent spots that you catch fish around there. But did you fish out of Willamette Park
Yeah,
again? And what'd you see on the water?
yeah. I fished out of Willamette Park. More debris, and the debris seemed like it was picking up later in the day too. So um, as that fast tide was ripping out, I think it was grabbing a lot of debris, and the river's still rising. So um, yes, I forgot your question, Bob. I
Yeah, I
got
mean
sidetracked.
that was one of the questions I had, if the river was rising. But besides, let
Yeah,
us know what reach of river you fished. It sounds like it was the Portland Harbor again. I don't know how far downstream
oh
you
yeah,
went,
yeah,
but also let us know
yeah.
what you
Willamette Park.
saw in the way of fish being caught, or how much other effort was out there.
Right. Well, I saw two other boats. One of on on my day, I have a friend that was fishing up in Selwood. He said there was one other boat there, and the fish checker at Willamette Park saw no fish. I was the third boat to come in. Um, I didn't see anybody fishing around me. I just seen a couple boats pass by, and I fished mostly from the railroad bridge above the Fremont there, and I go all the way down to the Bob Hope, which is parked there in the harbor, and I usually go around the Bob Hope and then drop my gear again, and then work that west side. There's a lot of humpy areas, especially on a fast outgoing tide. They'll hang out around those bumps and humps over there, and I saw fish. I mean, I marked fish. I just couldn't get any of them to go. Also, that launch where they launched the barges, and there's those rails going into the water. That's a great fishing spot, with a lot of my flashers hung up on it.
Well, on that note, one of our dear friends, Jim Martin, former chief of fisheries and avid sport angler, had asked some questions. I guess we didn't cover a few. You never want to put everything in, so we get a chance to talk to you again. But he was asking specifically what color flashers, and maybe you kind of mix it up based on water clarity. But if you give us a little detail on what color flashers are you using out there based on turbidity, and how important does role does scent play? I fished with you more than once, and I don't know if you have a favorite scent, or does it play a larger role in success in more turbid water? So tell us a little bit about flasher colors and your scent scheme.
I've had really good luck with chartreuse, all kinds of different versions of chartreuse. So most of my flashers have chartreuse on them somewhere. Um, I started fishing the Leo flashers this last fall and was having success with them. So I ran Leos all day today just to see how I would do. And let's see, I ran a chrome because it was a brand. I sent you a picture of that one, Bob. I
Yeah,
ran one of those chrome ones. I also ran a bright orange and black dot colored one. Then I think it's a Pearl Crush. I'm still learning the names of these flashers, but there's a Pearl Crush that's kind of like a white and chrome. Um, Early in the morning, I'll run a black flasher, so it has that black outline of contrast against the clouds or whatever. Early on, when there's not so much light coming down, when the light gets a little more directly, the sun gets a little more directly above me, then I start running more chromes,
yeah,
um, more chromes, less solid colors, hoping to get some flash and brighter colors in more turbid water generally. I also like to, if it's real dirty, if it's over 12 or 13, I've caught big fish at 17, 19 FNU, but I'm running my gear really close to the surface, 12 to 16, feet of line out. So,
yeah, yeah.
since I, so I brine my herring with magic brine, made by Bait Masters. That's kind of my base brine, and then I'll add just a little bit of blue, badass powder to it. Sometimes some of the, like a half a teaspoon of the salt that I use to cure my shrimp. And that gives a little bit of a red tint too, and a different scent. Um, Today I ran my herring straight out of the package, about the first six of them, and the rest of them went into a real basic brine. I ran whole herring and cut plug today. One of the things I like about the whole herring is that you can fish it, 5 miles an hour if you need to in a hurry or on a turn or whatever, and they spin, like crazy, and you can inject them with oil, and so I'll inject the whole herring with herring oil, and to freshen it up, and I did really well in Astoria with that technique, so I was doing a little bit of that today too, and there's not very many fish in the river yet, and I just didn't find any biters today, but they're in there, and I got a video of a sea lion destroying a sturgeon down there too.
Well, nobody ever wants to hear about that. So thanks for wrecking my day. But yeah, sea lions. We'll have
Get
to
busy
make
on
a,
that. Get busy on that, Bob. We got to get those sea lions out of there.
yeah. Well, it is actually open season on sea lions in the Willamette. The feds and the state who run that program are actually authorized to remove those sea lions in the Willamette. As many folks know, close to 40, maybe we hit the 40 sea lion mark, were removed from the Willamette Falls area. But getting those mammals that are not consistently hauling out in areas like the docks at Willamette, near Willamette Falls, is more challenging. So I'm on the task force to make recommendations on what to do. And it's been a successful program to date so far, but we haven't quite figured out how to mop up the other problematic. Those are stellars that are taking down the big sturgeon in the harbor there. So they're
Yeah.
on the to-do list, but we got to do it still. So but well, that's all great information. If you could give us an idea there, we don't have our next newsletter coming out till Thursday night. And I did put this information in the forecast section for our paid subscribers, but maybe you could give us a little insight on what does the week ahead look like. I mean, I know we have down here, we have I'm in Bay City right now because I'm going to guide on the Wilson tomorrow, but we've got a couple days of declining river heights, but then come Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, we have another bump in the hydrograph, and it's good. Certainly be different on the Willamette River. What do the next couple days look like for opportunity?
Not very good because the turbidity is rising, the river's rising. I mean, the tides will be softening, depending on how you want to fish. That could benefit you if you're, but it's kind of like plunking water. So, those strong tides are good. If I were to, and as I was leaving today, I saw actually spots in the harbor that normally I would never think about anchor fishing, but there was such good current there. I thought, you know what, I could have anchor fished right there,
Oh,
and just kind
wow.
of hung out all day. And so, um, and I think anchor fishing close to the shore is probably going to be your best bet. In those dirty waters, or keep your gear up real high, but it doesn't look real good. I mean, and most people gave up on today. There was no pressure for a Sunday. I didn't, like I said, I thought it was going to be worse than it was. So
Yeah.
12 isn't that bad. It's probably already 14. I haven't checked since this morning.
Right on. So we'll ride off Springer fishing probably for the better part of the week and even into next weekend, I think. But I know you also do some sturgeon fishing in the Portland Harbor. I don't know if you were so motivated to go get some fresh smelt out of the cowlets. I don't know how the dip season went. I'll certainly know that by next newsletter day, but I don't know if you heard how the dipping went or if you went. But so maybe you have an answer to that for us, but also let us give me some insight there, if you would, about what your sturgeon endeavors might entail in the next several weeks or months ahead.
Well, I'm pretty addicted to chasing salmon, Bob. So when they're around, if there's just, one been caught in a week, to me, that means they're around and all. It's hard for me to peel myself away from that. When clients want to book sturgeon trips, there's great sturgeon fishing all up and down the Willamette, and I think now is probably a pretty good time to get after them. I haven't dropped a sturgeon hook in over a month though, so um, but they're in there. And I've seen several people anchored up on that hole below Selwood Bridge the last three times out. So I'm assuming it's been pretty good in that stretch too.
Right on. Well, good. Let us know, Stephen, what your phone number is and what you're going to be looking to book in the next couple of weeks before we get a chance to talk to you again. So, tell us your phone number and what's looking ahead on your guiding schedule.
Sure, sure. My cell phone number is 503-999-0904. I have a YouTube channel, which is it's under Spicy's Fishing. The name of the channel is at 503 Spicy TV. You can also link up to that through my website. It's spicysfishing.com. Um, I don't generally book trips until I feel like I'm into them, and so that's why I've been spending time on the waters to try and find a good groove, something that I feel, confident selling, right? So, um, as far as the books, I would book for April. I'm open to book for April. I won't book for March until I, have a good feeling about it. Um, and that's on the Willamette. The Columbia, I haven't spent much time on. I know guys are doing pretty good down there, so that's another option too. Um,
Excellent. Great. Well, thanks for your time tonight. It's always great getting the insight. Thanks for the extra bonus time on where to fish and your color variation as well as your scent. So, again, thanks for your time, and we look forward to having you again on the Guys Forecast YouTube channel.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, take care.